You get Nancy Pelosi, you get Mike Pence, you get Donald Trump in the White House discussing the border wall. Now, it was supposed to be private, but Donald Trump didn't want it to be private. President Trump wanted to make a statement today, all right? So he catches Schumer and Nancy Pelosi by surprise because he allows the cameras into the discussion. They didn't know that was going to happen, and they didn't want it to happen. So why did President Trump do that? Because he knew he was going to wail on Chuck Schumer in particular, and he knew that all the hits he had taken had left him in a somewhat weakened position the last week or so. So he had to show strength. One of the core issues is building the wall. President Trump believes that his core vote want the wall built. He's frustrated because it hasn't been built, largely because of Congress not allocating the funds. The president wants $5 billion to build the wall. Schumer and Pelosi offer $1.3 billion to start. I mean, to just, get it rolling. It seems to me that in a private setting, there could have been some kind of accommodation made. President Trump didn't want it private. He wanted everybody to see that he's for the wall and Pelosi and Schumer are not, which is true. The only reason they're putting up $1.3 billion is because the Democrats know most Americans are tired of illegal immigrants coming across the border and narcotics, tons of narcotics coming across the border. So they want to throw a little fish to Trump. Trump didn't want to play that game. Trump wants a full-out war, so he says, I'm going to shut down the government. I'm not even going to consider a budget to extend government spending unless you give me the $5 billion. I'm just going to show you a sample of the back and forth, which was quite extraordinary. Go.
We have a disagreement about the wall, whether it's effective or not. Not on border security, but on the wall. We do not want to shut down the government. You have called 20 times to shut down the government. We have a proposal that Democrats and Republicans will support to do a CR that will not shut down the government. We urge you to take it.
And if it's not good border security, I won't take it.
It is very good border
And if it's not good border security, I won't take it.
It's what
Because when you look at these numbers of the effectiveness of our border security, and when you look at the job that we're doing with our military,
it is effective.
can I tell you something?
You just said
without
it's
a wall, these are only areas where you have the walls.
We want to do
where
this.
you have walls, Chuck, it's effective. Where you don't have walls, it is not effective.
Yeah. Let's call a halt to this.
Okay. Now, Schumer is a wise guy. Before that, he insulted Trump by citing the Washington Post, saying that Trump, had given him 8 Pinocchios or whatever. And you can tell Schumer's body language, didn't even look at him. Schumer hates Trump, and vice versa. They go way back in New York. Right, Chuck Schumer is a senator from New York. He's a Senate minority leader. They go way back. They have no use for each other at all. Okay? So that was apparent. Now, Schumer and Pelosi, they're looking at border security from what's good for the Democratic Party, not what's good for all Americans. The Democratic Party has invested heavily in immigrants. They believe the more immigrants in America, the more votes for the Democrats, because immigrants tend to need entitlement spending. They need it. All right? That's what this is all about. So Trump has the thing in his hand, and it's true, and we're going to get to the Border Patrol union chief in a moment. When you put a very sophisticated barrier up, it makes it a lot more difficult to go through the barrier, particularly if you have tons of drugs. So it is effective, as Israel proved, in erecting a wall so that terrorists couldn't come in and blow up Jews. All right, so everybody knows this. But what you don't know is that Trump wants to fight. Now, does he want to shut down a government before Christmas? I don't think the president wants to do that. Will he? Yeah, he'll do it. He'll do it because he believes that he can galvanize public opinion back into his corner. because he's taken a beating from Mueller and Cohen and all the other stuff. So this is a big issue that can wipe out, for a little while anyway, the Cohen women, all of that garbage, and get Americans focused on something that's real.